What Women Want in a Man, How to Become the Alpha Male Women Respect, Desire, and Want to Submit to, by Bruce Bryans. Ever caught yourself wondering what actually makes a woman's heart skip a beat? And no, I'm not talking about the surface-level stuff like a fancy watch or a fresh fade. I'm talking about that deep, magnetic pull that makes a woman look at a man and think, wow, this is my guy. That connection where she feels it in her bones that he's different from everyone else. Men have been scratching their heads over this question since the beginning of time. We try being nicer, cracking better jokes, hitting the gym harder, stacking more money. But honestly, most of us are just taking shots in the dark. And here's the kicker. While we're busy trying to figure it out, a lot of us fall into this sneaky trap. It's so well disguised, so seemingly innocent, that we don't even see how it's sabotaging everything. I'm talking about the nice guy trap. You know, that belief that if you just give more, agree more, and bend over backward enough, you'll finally unlock the love and respect you're after. But here's a wild thought. What if we've had it all backward? What if the exact things we think make us good guys are actually killing our attractiveness? Today, we're diving into a book that blows the lid off this whole confusion. It's called What Women Want in a Man by Bruce Bryans. And trust me, this isn't just another say this line and she'll swoon kind of guide. This is a complete transformation blueprint. Bruce himself went through this struggle. He was stuck in the casual dating hamster wheel, constantly frustrated because he couldn't attract the kind of woman he actually wanted. So what did he do? He became obsessed. We're talking thousands of hours deep diving into what actually creates attraction and what real masculinity looks like. And you know what he found? Something beautifully simple. High-quality women aren't hunting for perfection. They're not looking for a yes man, a servant, or someone who can read their mind. They're looking for a leader. By the time we're done today, you're going to understand the core principles of becoming that leader. We'll explore the magnetic force of masculine chivalry, why ditching your inner nice guy is actually the most loving thing you can do, and the single aspect of a man's life that, once you nail it, makes you absolutely magnetic. This isn't about games or tricks. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. So settle in and open your mind. We're about to crack one of life's biggest codes. Let's kick things off with a foundational concept that's so simple yet so powerful, it's basically the secret sauce for everything else. Attraction isn't some random lottery. It runs on polarity. Picture a magnet for a second. For that strong pull to happen, you need a clear positive and negative pole. In relationships, this is the dance between masculine and feminine energy. Here's the profound part that Bruce hits on. What a woman craves most from a man is the experience of feeling fully like a woman. She wants to relax into her feminine side, to feel beautiful, safe, cherished, and desired. And here's the thing. She can only fully step into that when she's with a man who's solidly planted in his mature masculinity. The more genuinely masculine a man is in how he carries himself, the more feminine the woman around him will feel. And let me tell you, that feeling is pure magic for her. So what does this mature masculinity actually look like? It's definitely not about being some chest-thumping caveman. Bruce gives it a name that perfectly captures the blend of strength and grace: masculine chivalry. Think James Bond or Indiana Jones. There's this undeniable presence they have. It's this perfect mix of romantic charm and grounded masculinity. And here's what it's not. It's not being a doormat who says yes to everything. It's not being that nice guy who thinks kindness alone will make her fall for him. Masculine chivalry is where old-school gentleman qualities meet solid masculine strength. The guy who embodies this is confident, assertive, and knows where he's going. But he's also brave and genuinely cares about people. He sees improving the lives of those around him as part of his mission, not because he needs a gold star, but because it's simply who he is. He's committed to three things above everything else: his principles, his purpose, and his relationships. He lives by a personal code of honor that doesn't shift with the wind of popular opinion or whatever mood he woke up in. This makes him solid as a rock. Reliable. Steady. And high-quality feminine women? They're absolutely starving for men like this. They're desperately hoping to find men they can genuinely look up to, trust completely, and feel safe following. But if this is the ideal, what's the biggest thing stopping most guys from getting there? Bruce is crystal clear about this. It's the one thing that can torch everything. Your own insecurities. Think about it for a second. Why does indecisiveness make women cringe? Why does a guy who lacks confidence send her running for the hills? Why does a man with no ambition stand basically zero chance with an amazing woman? Because all of these scream one thing: insecurity. And insecurity signals, deep down on a primal level, that a man can't lead. Women are wired to seek security in a partner. Historically, her survival and her kids' survival depended on picking a guy who was strong, decisive, and could handle whatever the world threw at them. When she picks up on your self-doubt, when she sees you waver, alarm bells start ringing in her head. She can't fully trust you. And without trust, respect evaporates. And without respect, desire doesn't stand a chance. This is exactly why women test men. It's not usually some calculated mean girl move. It's subconscious. She's checking to see what you're made of. When she pushes back or challenges you, she's looking for your core. Will you crumble, or will you stand your ground? She wants to see the real you beneath whatever charming act you might be putting on. Your ability to stay calm, make decisions, and keep your cool during conflict? That's one of the most attractive things you can possibly show her. It makes her feel genuinely safe. This brings us to the biggest enemy that modern men face when trying to become that solid, masculine presence. It's an identity we've been taught to wear like a badge of honor, thinking it's the golden ticket to love. It's the nice guy identity. Bruce spends a good chunk of the book helping guys understand and break free from this self-sabotaging pattern. And his message pulls no punches. Your nice guy act is actively destroying your chances with great women. Let's get something straight right off the bat. This isn't about becoming a jerk or treating people badly. It's about understanding the fatal flaws baked into the nice guy syndrome. Bruce breaks down 3 core reasons why Mr. Nice Guy always ends up losing. First, nice guys struggle to do the right thing because they're too busy doing the nice thing. The right thing is often uncomfortable. It might mean having a tough conversation, standing alone on an unpopular opinion, or letting someone down. The nice guy avoids all of this like the plague. He'd rather keep everyone happy than stand up for what he believes. When a woman sees this, she reads it as a lack of backbone and self-respect. And no woman can respect a man who doesn't respect himself. Second, being Mr. Nice Guy makes you come across as fake. The nice guy says yes to practically everything because he's terrified of anyone not liking him. His whole life becomes one big to-do list for other people's needs and problems. He turns into everyone's emotional dumping ground. A woman can never figure out who he really is, or what he actually stands for, because his opinions shift depending on whose approval he's chasing. If you can't be real with yourself, she knows you can't be real with her either. And third, this one's huge. Nice guys hand their power over to women on a silver platter. They fall into this pattern where they need a woman's approval to feel okay about themselves. They let women call all the shots, thinking this will make her happy. But it backfires spectacularly. No woman with any self-respect wants to be the one wearing the pants in the relationship. She hates being forced into that role, and she ends up resenting the guy who put her there. She wants a partner, a leader, not a project or someone she has to parent. So how do you kill off this inner nice guy? How do you take back your power and start being authentic? The answer is surprisingly simple. You need to master one tiny, 2-letter word: no. Bruce argues that getting comfortable saying no to people and hearing no from others is one of the fastest shortcuts to becoming a more mature, confident, and grounded man. And before you think this sounds selfish, hear me out. It's actually the opposite. The word no is how you protect your personal boundaries. It says, I value my time, my energy, and what I stand for. Here's the mind-bending part that trips most guys up. Telling a woman no when it's necessary actually makes her happier. Seriously, why? Because women know they can sometimes be emotional and irrational. It's part of being human. What she unconsciously craves is a man who can be her anchor. When you can tell her no in a calm, respectful, but firm way, it shows her a bunch of incredibly attractive things all at once. It shows you've got a spine. It shows you respect yourself first, which means you're actually capable of respecting her properly. And it shows her that if you can stand up to her when needed, you'll definitely be able to stand up for her when it counts. This ability to say no, to be decisive, and to hold firm to your convictions doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It needs to be rooted in something deeper. This is where we get to the real foundation of a man's inner strength. You absolutely must create and live by your own code of conduct. A man without a personal code is like a castle with no walls. He's defenseless against every passing opinion, every emotional mood swing, every bit of external pressure. His choices are based on how he happens to feel that day, which makes him unreliable and all over the place. Your code of conduct is your personal rule book, the principles and values that guide your life. It's your internal GPS. It defines what you stand for, what you'll never compromise on, and what kind of man you're committed to becoming. Bruce gives you some powerful questions to build this code. What are you willing to die for? How will you treat the woman in your life? What morals and values do you choose to live by? How do you act when the pressure's on? When you've got this code locked in, making decisions becomes solid. You're not guided by fear or the desperate need for approval. You're guided by your unshakable principles. A woman instinctively recognizes this as the foundation of real security. She knows that a man who lives by a code, rather than by whatever emotion he's feeling today, is someone she can trust with her heart and her future. All of this internal work, killing the nice guy, embracing no, building your code of conduct, is setting the stage for the most crucial element of a man's life. And this brings us to what Bruce considers the absolute peak of masculine development. Every man needs to discover his purpose and his path in life. This right here, this is the secret sauce. A man without purpose is just drifting, blown around by whatever winds happen to be blowing. He has no direction, no anchor point. He becomes a pawn in other people's plans, people who actually know what they want. Bruce argues that finding your path is powerful enough, all by itself, to transform you into the kind of man a woman will respect, admire, and want to treat like royalty. He presents two questions that every single man needs to ask himself, and this order matters big time. First, where am I going? And only after you've answered that one. Second, who will go with me? Most guys flip this completely around. They find a woman first, and then try to build a life around her. But a man who's locked into his mission, who's consumed by meaningful work that uses his greatest talents, that guy is a force of nature. His life has clear direction. He's not just consuming content and killing time until Friday. He's building something, creating value, making a real impact. And the passion he has for his mission, it's magnetic. A high-quality woman doesn't want to be the sun in your solar system. That's way too much pressure, and honestly kinda suffocating. She loves seeing a man who's passionate about something beyond just her, his work, his purpose, his calling. She doesn't want to be your reason for living. She wants to be your partner and biggest cheerleader on the journey toward your purpose. When a man is locked into his path, the right woman won't just be attracted to him. She'll fall in love with his mission too. This journey of becoming the man a woman truly wants isn't about reaching some finish line called perfection. It's an ongoing evolution. It's about taking complete ownership of your life and refusing to play the victim or complain about your circumstances. It's about facing down your fears head-on, especially the fear of failing and the fear of what people will say, because you know that failure is just how you learn, and criticism usually means you're doing something that matters. It's about building real courage, not by thinking about it, but by doing things that push you outside your comfort zone every single day. And here's a beautiful paradox. The journey of becoming a better man actually starts with accepting the man you are right now. You've got to learn to forgive yourself, appreciate your strengths, and find contentment in where you are today, even while you're pushing to grow. Because here's the thing, a good woman isn't holding out for a perfect man. She just wants a man who's perfect for her. And the guy who's committed himself to constant growth, who lives by a solid code, and who's driven by something bigger than himself, that man is more than good enough. He's irreplaceable. When we zoom out and look at what women want in a man as a whole, it becomes clear this book is about way more than just getting dates. At its core, it's a blueprint for mature masculinity. It's a wake-up call for men to reclaim a sense of honor, purpose, and self-respect that honestly feels like it's becoming endangered. What really strikes me about Bruce Bryans' message is how timeless it is. The principles of leadership, integrity, and purpose aren't trendy hashtags. They're the bedrock of a life well lived, for any man, anywhere, anytime. The book cuts through all the noise of modern dating advice, which usually focuses on tricks and manipulation, and goes straight to the source, character. It makes the case that genuine, lasting attraction isn't something you get from a woman by doing the right things. It's something you inspire in her by being the right person. The whole concept of killing the nice guy is especially eye-opening. It's a tough pill for a lot of us to swallow because we've been taught our whole lives that being agreeable is virtuous. But Bruce makes this brilliant distinction between being a kind man and a nice man. A kind man operates from strength and real empathy. A nice man operates from fear and desperate need for validation. One leads, the other follows. Understanding this difference can genuinely change your life. So how can you actually start applying this stuff today? You don't need some dramatic overnight transformation. It starts with small, intentional choices. Here's something concrete you can do this week. Grab 15 minutes of quiet time and a piece of paper. Write "My Code" at the top. Then write down just 3 simple rules you want to live by. Something like, I will do what's right, not what's easy. Or, I won't complain about things I have the power to change. Or, I'll spend 30 minutes every day working on my most important goal. Don't overthink it. Just write what feels true for you. This is your first step in building that inner compass. A second practical step is to practice what Bruce calls disappointing people. For one day, say no to one small request you'd normally say yes to out of obligation. Maybe it's skipping a social thing you don't actually want to go to, or telling a friend you can't help them at that exact moment. Notice the uncomfortable feeling that comes up, and then notice that everything's fine. The world keeps spinning. This tiny act builds your self-respect muscle. At the end of the day, this book is an invitation. It's inviting you to stop looking outside yourself for validation and start building an internal world with so much strength, integrity, and purpose that you naturally become a source of security and inspiration for everyone around you, especially for the woman you want to share your life with. It's not the easy path, but it's definitely the worthy one. That was a summary of What Women Want in a Man by Bruce Bryans. We've covered the main pillars of his philosophy today, but I'll be straight with you. A summary is just the map. The real treasure comes when you walk the path yourself. The magic happens when you're reading the actual book, and some story or simple phrase hits you in a way you never expected. This podcast is here to help you figure out if this journey is one you want to take. If anything we talked about today lit a spark in you, I really encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning information. It's an experience that can genuinely shift how you see yourself and your place in the world. You'll find the link to the book in the description. Also, if you got value from this summary, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss when we dive into another game-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep growing together.